Now we're going to work on a Form B, which is the tractor from the back of the driver, from the driver's door to the back of the tractor. I'm going to start up here with the mirror, make sure that it is securely mounted and that it adjusts properly from inside the cab. I'm going to check my door, make sure that it opens and closes. I'll check the hinges, make sure the hinges are secure. Also check my weather stripping, make sure that it's secure and that the door closes. If I see any lights or reflectors on the side of the tractor, I'm going to call those out. Maybe a turn signal or reflective tape. I'm going to come down and check my battery box. Make sure the batteries are securely connected and that there are no leaks. After that, I'm going to check my step. Make sure that it's securely mounted, that it's free of anything that might cause me to slip or fall. Moving back to the back of the cab, I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to look for reflective tape that should be up here at the top or down at the bottom. I'll check any lights that are on the back of the cab, window, make sure that it's not damaged. Then moving down, I'm going to check my DEF tank, my diesel exhaust fluid tank, make sure that the lid or the cap is secure. I'm going to check my fuel tank. Same thing, I'm going to check the cap, make sure that it is secure, make sure that the tank is not leaking, make sure the tank straps are securely mounted, and I'll check the steps. Make sure that they are secure and that they are free of anything that could cause me to slip and fall. Moving to the inside of the frame, I'm going to check my drive shaft, make sure the drive shaft is securely mounted, that any couplings or joints are secure, and that there does not appear to be any damage. I'll also check my catwalk, make sure that it's securely mounted, nothing that is going to cause me to slip or fall. I'm going to look at the frame rails, make sure that the frame is not cracked, damaged, or has any holes or welds that aren't there from the factory. I'm going to check my exhaust, make sure the exhaust doesn't show any signs of leaking, things like soot or smoke trails. If there are any leaks that are under the cab, it is an out-of-service violation. Moving on with the frame, I'll check any cross members or other items that are attached to the frame. The torque arm controls twist. Torque is twisting. So we talked about a spring suspension, and we said that we also got an air suspension. The air suspension has an airbag, shock absorbers, U-bolts. Now those are the same as the spring suspension, aren't they? But here, this front portion, this big heavy bar is called a torque arm. And what it does is it manages the twisting force that is caused by the suspension going up and down. If there wasn't anything up front controlling that, then the airbag would be useless. So just like with the front suspension or a spring suspension, I'm going to check that torque arm mount, make sure that it's securely mounted, it's not broken or damaged, the torque arm itself is securely attached, that the U-bolts are in place, that they're tight, it's not loose. Shock absorber is securely mounted top and bottom, it's not leaking. And you see that torque arm goes right over the top of the axle here and goes down to the bottom of that airbag. So I want to check the airbag mounts, top and bottom, make sure that they're secure. I'm going to check that airbag and make sure that it's not damaged or cut and that it inflates properly. Next, I'm going to check my brake components. I'm going to check my air hoses, make sure that they're securely mounted, they're not damaged or broken, and are not leaking. I'm going to inspect the brake chamber, Make sure that it is securely mounted, that there's no damage, that it's not leaking. Then I'll look at the slack adjuster and push rod that come out of the brake chamber. They're attached securely and should be at about a 90-degree angle. And again, if the brakes were released, I shouldn't be able to pull that more than 1 inch. On the inside of the wheel, I'm going to finish the brakes by looking at the brake drum and the brake linings. Just like on the front, checking the brake drums for any cracks or welds, checking the brake lining to make sure that it has at least 1/4 of an inch of pad and that it is not damaged. Also going to check and make sure that there's no debris or grease that could make the brakes ineffective. After I've completed checking the brakes, I'm going to check my tire. Same things that I checked on the steering tire. I'm going to check for condition, which includes this inner sidewall, making sure there's no damage, there's no cuts. I'm going to check the tread surface, make sure that it's wearing evenly, and that the tread depth is at least 2/32 of an inch. Also going to check the inner sidewall, make sure there's no damage, no cuts. I see my valve stem for that inner wheel, where I could check the air pressure with a tire gauge. I'll check what I can on this rim to make sure there's no cracks on either rim on the inside. These are bud rims. They do not require a spacer. I'm also going to make sure there's nothing in between the tires or that the tires aren't touching. I'll check the outer tire the same as I did the inner side. Move into my rim. Make sure that it is not damaged. There's no welds, no cracks. Check my lug nuts, make sure that they're secure. No signs of looseness. Check my valve stem, make sure it's secure, and I can check my pressure with an air gauge. And then I'll end up with my hub seal, making sure that that is not leaking and that it is securely mounted. For the second axle, I would check everything that I did on the front one, which would include the suspension, the brakes, the tires, and everything. At the back of the vehicle, I'm going to check my splash guards or mud flaps, make sure that they're securely mounted. Anywhere I see reflective tape, I'm going to mention that the reflective tape is in place and that it is not damaged. I'm going to check all of my lights. I'm going to check my left turn, my right turn. I'm going to check the tail lights, which should be red when the lights are on. I'll check the brake lights. I'll also check my reverse lights and my license plate light to make sure that all of them are clean and functional. And that concludes the Form B.